We'll see. But we will also see us, as we're back this week, Michael has snuck it and Anya. Our Royal Rumble predictions were very, very wrong. We'll say that right away. And I don't think anybody, besides maybe fucking Rikishi and Jay's wife, had Jey Uso winning the Rumble.
Well, no.
What did you think? Hey. What did you think of the Rumble match?
I actually really liked the Rumble match. I liked how they paced it. I liked the spots they had in there. Should we talk about our boy LA Knight getting a little heat?
At first I thought that was heat the first 2 or 3 days, but now I see they're playing into it more. It's either,
it was definitely heat. Now they're using it.
They're using it, but I think they're on the path to cooler heads prevail to make money, hopefully.
Well, I'm hoping that's good news for LA Knight because now they're kind of like parring him off to have the U.S. title feud again, but I feel like once we get to WrestleMania, he might be having a big old match with Drew.
Did you SmackDown last night by chance?
I saw that he won the number one contender match. I saw that on Friday. Yeah.
I don't know if it was a number one contender, but he beat the Miz in a nothing match. Yeah. And the promo before it with the Miz crying, it was just brutal, fucking brutal. He beat the Miz as he should. Kind of fucked up the BFT, but I think they're going. His new finisher might be that elevator up, elbow.
Yeah,
elbow. To be honest, that makes him pop more.
I don't know. I don't like that as a finisher though. I see that as just more of a signature. I like the BFT because you can do it on anybody.
So afterwards, Nakamura came out, and there were no physical altercations. There weren't barely any words. It was kind of just Knight posing up top, and all of a sudden, like Nakamura snuck in the ring, and they just like awkwardly stared, like they both were looking at zits on their faces.
And this, I don't want to sound the wrong way here, but this is where you have kind of that language barrier, where it really keeps you from getting really invested in Nakamura, to where he can only do so much with an American crowd, to where he comes in the ring there. Like is Nakamura ever going to sell a feud with a promo? That's the problem with me. Like, I love New Japan, don't get me wrong, but in America, like, I'm sorry, you have to be able to speak at least coherent English for me to really be able to.
I've caught a lot of flack on this on Twitter, and I'm going to catch a lot of flack right now. I think Julia and Stephanie Vicor are tremendous, but when they're a promo backstage, it's fucking brutal for me.
Exactly. And, we can sound like, narrow-minded American assholes.
Sorry.
But this is American wrestling. Like,
I'd rather them speak in their own language and have subtitles.
Yeah, correct. If I can only understand you in subtitles, I would much rather have that than you trying to force a language that you obviously can't speak.
Exactly. And God bless them. I know they're trying. Asuka's has come a long way.
And that's always been my thing with Asuka. Like, I love Asuka. I love the Japanese wrestlers in general. But if they can't cut a promo in coherent English, you need to do something to help that. You either need to give them a mouthpiece, or you need to have them have some subtitles with their promos, whatever way you need to make it work. Like, it's not like you don't have enough people on this roster to make somebody a manager, or at least get them over with their promo a little bit by speaking coherent English.
I said it the other day because I'm a huge fan of his YouTube channel, and he's a really well speaker, and he asks professional questions. In the next year, I can see Maven Huffman being a color analyst for that company, like a Wade Barrett. Not maybe a color guy, but Maven Huffman, he looks great. He dresses great. He's very classy. He's so nice. I don't
know. He's got that Virginia twang a little bit. I don't know how they like that in WWE.
Well, Vince is gone. Kevin Dunn's gone, man.
Is he gonna be like JR version Virginia?
I will give you your flowers. You called it spot on the money, even though I know I could tell you didn't want to. Charlotte Flair, the winner of the Women's Rumble. That Raw after, though, this is never going to work, guys.
Well, and I think we all knew that, too. Like, I don't know why they keep trying to force this. Nobody wants to cheer Charlotte Flair.
No,
and people can come up with
when is the
whatever reason
last
they want.
legit time do you think was it the death of her brother? or even how that was handled. Remember that?
Yeah, I can't remember anyone ever truly. The last time I saw Charlotte Flair get a pop was after her match with Ronda Rousey, where she just beat the fuck out of her with a kendo stick and chairs and shit.
I think that
That was the last time I ever saw her get a pop as far as like baby face. And that wasn't even being a baby face. That was just they hated Ronda Rousey more than they hated her. So like
or
Charlotte
doing
Flair, I don't.
anything to Nia Jax too. I feel like she always got a good reaction.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me why people as smart, or at least people that should be as smart as what they have backstage, would think that Charlotte Flair coming back, I don't care how long it's been, would be receptive to her cutting a babyface promo.
Yeah.
Like, look at Charlotte Flair. Look at how she dresses. Look at how she carries herself. That is not a babyface.
It's not even that. It's really hard for the common man to cheer an arrogant Wonder Woman. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's how she carries herself, along with her music. Like, what is relatable about Charlotte Flair that would make you want to cheer her?
Also, numbers fuck matter. I don't care if it's 86, 95, 98. I don't care that much if you're going for title 14. Like, boo-hoo, I'm sorry you had a rough year, and I hate to say it, the state of the country
she's going for 50.
Well, I say this, whatever the number is. The state of the country is, I think, right now, the general populace watching these, because those Netflix and SmackDown shows, the internet can bitch about Jey Uso all they want. Tremendous reactions, total casual crowds. And these were also casual crowds full of parents and kids who booed the fuck out of Charlotte Flair. Because nobody
it's feels... not just casual.
Yeah. But I mean, that arena, the casuals and the parents, or dare I say 85% are what's going to these. Okay? So it's hard.
You could be a little off there.
I think it's maybe I am. I think it's hard to feel sorry for the almost billionaire who had a rough year, while every fucking year for the common person is rough. I don't think that's a good way to bring her back as a babyface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just because you're coming back from an injury does not make you more relatable. Like it's not. It's literally like I said. What does Charlotte have about her that makes you really want to root for her or get behind her? There's nothing. There's really nothing. You come from a legacy of a father who really has lost a lot of popularity in the last few years, for being honest.
Completely tarnished.
And more comes, and not just about him, but more and more has come out in the past few years about her. Like it's not that she's a terrible person, but she's working on her third divorce now. There's been rumors of past domestic violence issues with her and past husbands.
Yeah.
That was covered up. I mean, and you just
that
look
Flair
at her.
Physically got involved in with these son-in-law at the time.
Yes, and then you look at her. Like, does she look anything like what she used to look like?
She looks like Honus Wilson, the legendary baseball
player. And we're supposed to be like insensitive. It's insensitive if it's insensitive or mean for us to mention that she looks like she's had more work done than anyone I've ever seen in my life.
And that's where our slam pigs come in. But in reality, our problem is Tiffany Stratton, very few times in wrestling.
Nobody wants to boo her.
Well, that very few times in wrestling do stars and the moon, the stews. Hey, Tiger. Do the stars? That Tiffany Stratton.
That's my best impression you got there. I could take a Tiffany Stratton down to the dungeon and really make her a star.
What do we have Diana manager? She's still fit.
She's really got a lot of charisma.
But I think very rarely when the stars and the moons aligns organically, we're looking directly into the future, just like people were looking into the future in early '84 with Hulkamania. I think that's what we're seeing with Tiffany Stratton. And now, they would have the rematches, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I'm sorry, the first time, it's got to be the most important in a way. Now, I know that doesn't always apply, but for here, I think it does. It does.
For me, it's not even about who wins this match.
I don't care if she wins Chicken Shit Hill. Like, that's
it's at this point in time, you've already turned Tiffany Stratton like tweener. Nobody already wanted to boo her in the first place because of her personality. She's caught on. Everyone loves what she's doing. So why would you think matching up someone like Charlotte Flair would make her the babyface of this feud. Like, it just makes no sense to me, to where I look at Triple H
story
and I'm like, you cannot be
because
you cannot be this blind. You cannot be this blind to what the audience wants. Like, are you really like, because everyone's talked about how great of a job Triple H has done since taking over with kind of getting the pulse with the fan base, and how he's pushing people that they want and things like that. But then he does something like this, and I'm like, are you stupid?
And on top of,
like,
Michael, last week on these shows, both mid-card champions who just won these in really good tournaments lost clean in Elimination Chamber qualifiers.
Well, yeah, let's just make these mid-card belts just seem irrelevant. Like, I'm not saying they need to beat upper echelon talent all the time, but if you're going to have them win these belts, like, do they both need to lose in the first round?
Now, there's some I agree with. Last night on SmackDown, it was Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman, and Damian Priest for the qualifier. I have no problems. I have no problems pinning Braun Strowman in 2025. That ship has sailed years ago.
And that's fine, but I'm totally against you with that one as far as who won that match. There is no needle being moved by Damian Priest.
But there's only one way for Jacob Fatu to lose in the Elimination Chamber, because you can't be disqualified or knocked out. He'd have to be pinned or submitted, and I don't think they want to do that yet. So I think Priest is the fall mediocre guy.
See, and I feel like that's a cop-out, because Jacob Fatu can be that unstoppable monster in that chamber that catches, 3 or 4 finishers in a row like they've done before to take out that one big monster. I felt like this was just a very safe move. Well, let's put Priest in there because he's a former world champion and he doesn't really have anything to do, and we'll figure out our Jacob Fatu feud with Solo later. I'm totally less interested in that chamber match without Fatu in it. I felt like they really dropped the ball there. Because
you had really Logan Paul to mix, and I'm going to probably take a nap.
Look, well, he's in there.
You're like me. Can you believe next year's 10 years we've been doing this, by the way? I just want to throw that in. Crazy, right?
I did not realize that.
Yeah, 2016, WrestleMania 32, our very first episode, man.
That was before my son was born.
You throw Logan Paul into this mix, and I'm probably going to fall asleep.
Well, and they've already done that. This is what's
that was a good match with Mysterio, but if you can't have a match with good Mysterio, see ya.
It's just like, I really feel like they dropped the ball with Fatu here. Like, I know they're trying to do certain things with him, but what would it hurt to have him in the chamber, honestly? He doesn't have to win it, but you can at least make him look strong in a loss. Like, nobody wants... I'm sorry. If we polled 100 people, how many people are going to pick to see Damian Priest in the chamber over Jacob Fatu?
His one diehard stan.
I've never been a giant Damian Priest fan.
I mean, I like him. I think he was huge when he cashed that in when we were there. But there was no follow-up.
Yeah, it was a good moment, but it's because it was WrestleMania. It's not because of what he had been doing.
He was still stuck in a jobber.
Yeah, what has Damian Priest ever done to really stand out?
Well, we've said that about so many. Who knows what the future brings? We've said about the Ringmaster. We've said about so many. Rocky Maivia. Who knows?
We weren't talking about it back then, but still, Damian Priest needs a whole new direction for me to even be remotely interested. I think he has potential.
He does,
but I don't feel like his direction is even remotely close to what they should be doing with it.
Speaking of entirely new direction, without The Rock, who's now wants to be Apocalypse, Marvel wants him to play Apocalypse in a movie. There's always a chance, because you can never count out The Rock, but I really think, especially how well that face-to-face went off, I really think they're going to do Punk and Cody at WrestleMania. I think Punk's winning the chamber. I think this is, in their mind, not their Rock Austin, but in a way, kind of like their Mega Powers-ish. I would have to have Cody win, though. I would have to, because Cody, the reign has been great. I mean, if you got nothing but Solo Sikoa to work with, come on. But you bring Punk back at a later date. Yeah, and maybe that could lead to that everyone wants Punk heel turn along the way in the next year. But I think that's the match you should do.
The only thing that makes me think twice about that is how much Punk has been talking or throwing John Cena into his promos.
Right.
It's making me think that there's going to be a Punk Cena match or a triple threat there somewhere, to where it's going to be some iteration of Punk and Cena and Cody Rhodes dealing in some sort, because it's Cena's last WrestleMania. They're trying to really milk that cow. He didn't have to qualify for the chamber. He just got automatically put in, which is something where I really think that hurts Cena a little bit for me, because fans are finally like, yeah, Cena. But yet he doesn't have to earn his way there, which makes, diehards like us like, this is fucking bullshit. Like when Punk's like, yeah, he didn't have to earn his way, we're all kind of like, yeah, that is kind of bullshit. It makes us go back right to fucking 2006. John Super Cena doesn't have to earn his shit. He just gets it handed to him. So, like, I feel like there's going to be some sort of triple threat or some curveball thrown there to where Cena's going to be thrown into the mix there. And, I mean, I'm okay with it.
He's going to be.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I could definitely see Cody pinning Cena at WrestleMania rather than Punk to set up maybe some shit down the line.
Here are the two routes I see for Cena. Only one because his opponent's in the Elimination Chamber. We kind of talked about it last time. You're probably going to scoff on it. The more popular rumor, him and Logan Paul at WrestleMania, which honestly does nothing for me.
Not a chance.
But you could feasibly, if you work it into this match, even though he didn't qualify, Jacob Fatu somehow costing Cena, and it's Cena and Fatu. And there's never been a stipulation where Cena loses, he has to retire. This isn't Ric Flair in 08. He's already lost the Rumble. But I think that would be a hell of a showcase for Jacob Fatu for John Cena's last WrestleMania. And you can tell, as sure as the cows come home, that's the guy they want to make their next monster. Beyond Braun, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just storyline-wise, from what they're showing me, they're not giving me any kind of hint that they want to put those two together right now.
Maybe the Solo thing's a swerve.
I'm trying to go...
And that's how he beats Cena.
I feel like it's going to be Solo and Jacob at WrestleMania.
I don't know
in some way or another.
See, that is the thing.
I mean, it's going to be some sort of bust-up with that group, because that's what they're teasing. And I think they're going to somehow or some way have Solo and Jacob face off, because the fans have already been clamoring for it. And the story they've been telling is that Solo can't be the head of that faction. So Jacob needs to be the one that comes up and challenges him. So I just don't see Cena and Jacob. Honestly, the only direction I really see for Cena is that WWE Championship match where it's him and Cody and Punk. I really think if I was going to bet my house, that's going to be a triple threat match for the title. I think you're going to see Reigns and Seth Rollins. I think that's where they're going to go eventually. They've been teasing that so much because of all their past history, especially after the Rumble with Rollins, sending him out on the injured list. It just makes too much sense for me to book it that way. So I think it kind of books itself, especially with I guess I'm setting us up for our next topic here. The underwhelming other title match that we are going to get, Jey Uso and Gunther.
I mean, this one's strictly for the kids, and I have no problem with it. He's so over with the children.
The kids?
And the adults.
The kids that smoke weed?
Hey, you cannot deny this guy's over.
He's over, but Christ, he's coming out with dudes smoking blunts. Is that really for kids?
I mean, I smoke the blunts. It depends what state
you're not in. A child. You're an adult.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. For one, if you saw the heartfelt promo and all, yes, I mean, his moveset isn't the best, and he had some DUI mistakes. Yes, but he deserves it, man. He's busted he made Yeet his own.
I'm not saying he's not over. I just don't get where he's marketable for kids. I don't think it is. Like, at least how they marketed him, I think they're marketing him for more adults.
Well, I think they only did the blunt thing once, and then to never be seen again.
We're just going to smoke weed on our way out to the ring.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on anybody who smokes weed. Obviously, we've all smoked our fair share of weed growing up. But I don't know that that's something that I would be advertising.
I think
to children.
This year, it was their feel-good story for a guy who's never won the big one, as opposed to, in their eyes, the other title picture is just a bunch of, I need the title to live. I need it again. This is their feel-good one. It's fine.
From what I've read, this is all to appease Netflix.
It's okay. And Rikishi, so he doesn't throw another tampon on the train.
Nobody gives a fuck about Rikishi. This is all to appease Netflix, who's spending a fuck ton of money.
He went on the streets in '95 and he spray painted up graffiti and he made a difference. What are you doing?
Nobody gives a shit about Rikishi. I'm sorry. We didn't give a shit about him ever.
All in all,
he's a mid.
All in all, I enjoyed the Rumble. My wife enjoyed. She did not like Joe Hendry's entrance, which I jumped out of my fucking seat.
How does she not like Joe Hendry?
She just doesn't. She's just one of those. He got the standing O on the Miz, and the best part was Sheamus stood in the corner smiling the whole time. And finally, when Hendry was intercepted, Sheamus goes over to whoever did and says, "I was quite liking that." So good stuff. Great to see the team.
But she doesn't know the backstory, so she doesn't get it.
Yeah. Let's move over to the hot topic the thumbnail is all about today. One of the most laughable motherfucking stories I've seen in almost 40 years of following this, and I'm talking about Herb Abrams' UWF, WCW 2000, TNA 2014, TNA 2015, TNA 26. No, guys, Grand Slam Australia originally... Well, they made a drastic decision regarding where it's located in 2025 because of low ticket sales for the AEW Grand Slam initially in the stadium in Brisbane, Australia. Promotion has now selected a small new venue for the Grand Slam pay-per-view. AEW Grand Slam Australia has been scheduled for February 15th, 2025, and the event will have some of the biggest AEW names performing for the fans. Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, Australia was the first stadium selected to host the Grand Slam pay-per-view right there. First fucking article on this. It's called a pay-per-view, which had a seating capacity of more than 52,000 people. Now, Michael, if I'm going to any fucking show, and it's a stadium show, and it's seating already 52,000 people, allegedly, wouldn't you assume that's a bigger show / I don't know, pay-per-view?
Well, I'd fucking hope so.
Especially when tickets ringside were going for Jesus Christ, $2,500 to $3,000, $1,000 tickets in the mid-level on the ground.
Jesus, what is this, WrestleMania?
Initially, the VIP tickets for the Grand Slam event were booked drastically, but the majority of the general tickets were, get this, unsold. Less booking will result in less audience, and the atmosphere required to make AEW Grand Slam Australia the biggest event of AEW won't be achieved. This forced AEW to change the location for Grand Slam 25, and here we go. On November 27th, Michael, 2024, AEW shared an email with all the ticket holders for the previous venue who had already ordered their tickets in advance regarding the new location for said Grand Slam 2025. In the email, AEW confirmed that the new location for AEW Grand Slam Australia will be in the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, which has a seating capacity of, guess. Just guess.
5,000.
Low. You're low. They probably drew that, but you're low.
10,000.
Little higher.
15.
13,600. The difference...
So this is like WrestleMania 7.
Yeah, but more. The distance between the new venue and the older one is just 11 miles, which makes the change acceptable to ticket holders, or do they? There's still no official update from the promotion on social media. Of course, shocker. It's just the email that the fans shared and broke across the internet.
Hey, AEW, side, at least the wrestlers won't have to deal with that Aussie heat.
Well, most of them are born there, so they're used to it. AEW will send new tickets to all ticket holders for Suncorp Stadium within 2 weeks on tickettekapp.com. I guess that's an Australian one. The old tickets booked for Suncorp Stadium will no longer be accepted. Only the ones booked for the Entertainment Center will be accepted. So you ain't getting refunds. For other queries regarding the tickets for AEW... Are you
fucking kidding me?
I'm not, dude, and it gets better. Hold on. For the tickets for AEW Grand Slam Australia, you can check out the Ticket Tech website, which I'm sure was frozen server-wise within 2 seconds. AEW has seen... This is from a biased news page. Read this one if you can't tell by this sentence. AEW has seen a rise in their company in the past few months, but the low ticket sales for their upcoming Grand Slam pay-per-view unfortunately forced them to move to Brisbane Entertainment Centre in Australia.
So what about those people that bought ringside seats for the stadium?
If that wasn't enough, well, they got moved ringside for the same fucking price, Michael, and the entertainment arena. Not joking. And it gets better. A week ago, the official AEW Twitter page tweeted out, hey, because on their actual TV Dynamite, on the graphic on the bottom, they're airing the wrong times. The first they put 8 p.m. It's airing after all the NBA All-Star coverage on TNT. Excuse me, TBS. So they'd have to wait till at least 10:30, 11. They don't know when the fuck they're going. Then it got changed to question mark. Okay? The last social media person that posted this is probably fired. Now posted, stay tuned immediately following NBA All-Star coverage on TBS. Exclusive pay-per-view. Grand Slam Australia. And that tweet was deleted within 3 minutes. Guaranteed.
So now it's going to be a TV special?
And it aired tonight. And nothing of note other than Toni Storm finally winning back her women's belt. Mercedes Moné continues to be Hogan. And a bunch of Death Riders bullshit tag matches with Adam Copeland. I guess it was a good show. Well, Ospreay was on it, so it's got to be, right?
Hey, you say his name right. His name's Cope.
Your thoughts on did WCW even misorganize this badly, Michael? And last thing, and I promise the floor is yours. The ring they used tonight. This $1 billion company who owns a football team, a soccer team, blah blah blah. They had to cut budget by not being able to ship their own ring over, or something got lost, so they had to use an Australian indie ring with literal construction guys who use step ladders to get into the ring. And Buddy Matthews already rolled his ankle on it. I rest my case. Wait a minute. Before you, got a little Brian James to. All right, your thoughts, my man. Good God.
Well, I just want to shout out one of my favorite news sources to watch. I want to shout out Wrestle Talk on this one, because if there's anyone that's so certainly biased on AEW, it's Wrestle Talk. Now, I get that they're based in England, and a lot of their employees are based there, and they really love them some AEW. But Jesus Christ, how are they going to cover up this one with their news? I'm sure they're going to make it sound like, oh, well, they just don't want to take a chance here. But let's be real. This isn't scheduled till what? Next year? It's not till November, right? Am I wrong? If it's in November, why are they already changing venues? We're in February. So somebody told somebody, this shit isn't going to work. So as far as this goes, I am totally flabbergasted on why they would already be announcing this. Are you still there? Hello? I can't hear anything.
Did it cut out? I'm here. Still there?
Hello?
Somehow we lost him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking if you could hear me, and I heard nothing.
I had to step away real quick to get a drink. If that ever happens, just do a Waylon Mercy promo.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
So
the magic of editing.
Hopefully you can edit this back in. Do you want to give me a countdown?
3, 2, poop.
So my whole thing with this is This isn't scheduled till November, correct?
Right.
So if they're already switching venues,
wait, the Australia
Feb-
thing?
yeah.
That happened tonight. Literally tonight.
Oh, it was tonight.
As we're
Okay.
recording, yeah.
So when did they announce they were switching venues?
I want to say 2.5 months ago.
All right. So, sorry, don't mind my giggling.
No,
So
we're all giggling.
they knew 2.5 months ago this shit wasn't going to fill up remotely at all.
I think they knew way longer than that, but bad faith.
If I'm correct, the Grand Slam pay-per-views they've had before this, were they always in February?
No, I believe they were in September at Arthur Ashe.
I thought so. I thought they were in a tennis stadium. So, for one, they decided to switch this to a cold weather venue where they could move it international. I feel like they're trying to copy WWE a little bit here by going to international venues, hoping they're going to sell more. And they just realized their international audience just isn't there like they thought it was. And especially with the price they're trying to charge. So what they've done is try to cover it up, but we're just going to put it in a smaller venue, and we're going to still charge you the same price for the same shit that we're going to give you.
And my brother,
Which I think
it gets better than that, because guess what? Once they moved to that entertainment center, most of the fans said, fuck it, it's not worth it. They still, after being in that fucking little 5,000 arena center, did a buy one, get one deal. Survivor Series 97 style. We just talked about it.
So my friends at Wrestle Talk will be trying to spin this somehow to where it's someone else's fault, but AEW's, because God forbid we review WWE SmackDown. God forbid we actually have somebody review WWE SmackDown on a Saturday morning because we don't have anyone in Wrestle Talk that wants to work on fucking Saturday. But we're going to make sure to review AEW Dynamite every week that gets less views than NXT. So please tell me, Ollie Davis, why we need to give AEW an 84% rating when nobody's fucking watching it.
I'll give it on the other end, but not just hate. We love wrestling bios in this channel. Keep up the good work.
We love
pal.
wrestling bios. We love people that keep it real. And I'm sorry, Wrestle Talk is one of my favorite news sources, but I'm really close to really just not listening to that anymore. I know we're small time compared to them.
Yeah.
I know we're small time compared to them.
Fuck them.
But these motherfuckers
not
could
for
not
long.
Be more biased.
Not at this goddamn. Did you see these Wrestling Observer Awards that came out yesterday?
Yeah. And they're falling right the fuck down.
Okay, let me ask you this, Michael. Let me ask you a valid, calm question. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's say I got two lists. One is my best commentator of 2024. My other is the worst or worst. Good and bad list. My number one worst commentator of 2024 is Booker T, who, in my opinion, made Trick Williams come at me.
Tricky Dicky Wicky.
My fourth worst, as I go down this, is old Sockface, the man in the mask, Excalibur. Now, if we look over at the good Meltzer fans list, number one, take a guess who number one is.
Worst?
Best.
Number one best? Excalibur.
Yes! What the fuck is that? Hold on, my door.
It's idiots. It's literally the 3% of people that actually
blues for leaving the door open.
It's literally the 3% that actually don't know what they're talking about.
Sorry. I can't wait to get you over here with harmonica so you have sound effects too. Let's talk about these AEW releases real quick. Neither one of us we were both busy that day. Shout out to you, Cheap Plugs on the channel. You all over those WWE releases. Good job. Well, we didn't talk about the NXT release. Miro, let's start with Miro. If you don't want to fucking be somewhere, pal, don't be there. Just don't.
Yep.
And it's Tony Khan did that man no favors. He was already on the outs of his wife, and all of a sudden Tony Khan just hired his wife to be with him. That might have not been awkward or anything.
Not at all. And plus, not like the guy could not have been one of his top of the card talents.
I will come completely clean, Michael. You might hang up the call. I don't care. I'll call you right back. Besides our little inside Rusev joke from like 7 years ago, do it.
Rusev?
There it is. I really never got Rusev, especially the whole Rusev Day and WWE. Like, it was okay. But yeah, for me personally,
I loved him with Lana.
I loved him with Lana, but when it started like babyface Rusev Day with Aiden English, I was just like, it's kind of stupid.
It was over with the crowd. Like, it didn't have to be gotten. I guess it was a nice mid-card, we get it.
Yeah.
But honestly, the guy in the ring, let's be real. The guy in the ring is upper echelon talent.
I agree.
He looks the part. He looks the part. He can work. Like, give the guy something. In AEW? Are you fucking kidding me? You have nothing for him to do?
They brought him in as the best man who just plays arcade games, which no one's getting over with that.
Fucking stupid.
By the end of it, that Redeemer gimmick he was doing is the best thing he's done in his entire career in both companies. By far.
I mean, I enjoyed it. The fact that they couldn't find any more for him to do is crazy to me. Like, if I had to pick, like, I'm not even.
He didn't have that camaraderie, and that's going to be a common thing with the next three guys. He did not have that.
That's what it was, and maybe I'll catch a lot of shit for this. But if I had my choice to watch a Jon Moxley match or a Miro match, I would much rather watch Miro.
If I had my choice to watch a Aleister Black or any of those other guys, I'd watch Aleister Black. Real Aleister Black, not trios.
Aleister Black looks the part. He's another one that I think really needs someone to help him on the microphone, and that may be another controversial take.
He's also not fully there in the ring. He needs someone to tell him how to slow down. Less is more, I feel like.
He has that indie style still.
But we both have to admit with him, ungodly potential, man.
Oh my God. If you look at the guy, you're like, that dude's a star.
Plus, he's married to Zelina Vega. Jesus Christ.
Super red hot fox.
Woo. Slam pigs.
Who can also work.
One more release this week, which was,
I'm hoping that there's going to be a new Rusev Day coming back to WWE, by the way, just to piggyback off that.
If they do it well and it makes sense, I'll give it a chance. How's that?
There's no way that Rusev can't have a spot in WWE somewhere.
I see Rusev coming back as that Redeemer character.
And I don't care how they bring him back. He will definitely add to that mid-card, that upper mid-card. I could see him feuding with a guy like our guy, LA Knight. I think that would be a great feud. Imagine those two in the ring. I think that would be awesome.
And I think, I think that's where LA Knight needs to be right now. He keeps needing to have these classics with upper echelon guys. Then we'll get to a bigger belt.
Yeah, he's got to prove himself a little bit more in the ring to me. And I love him. He's our hometown guy. But he just hasn't quite had those.
And if you noticed last
upper
night,
echelon matches.
If you noticed last night, he did stumble a bit on the mic. I'll call it like I see it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not perfect.
Not perfect at all.
But guess what? The guy needs a little more seasoning. Give him some talent to work with, like a Miro / Rusev, Aleister Black, whoever that you can add to this talent pool to really make it.
Boy,
sizzle.
Did they ever. Because not even fucking 12 hours after he was announced online that he was a free agent, you could hear Ray Phoenix screaming all the way from San Jose or wherever he lives, saying, "Motherfucker! Ricky goddamn Starks." He's up on my wall up there. It's aged horribly because it's an AEW figure now, Michael.
Did I call it?
You did. Came out. Didn't even have to say his name. The crowd said it for him. And he's going to go by Ricky Starks. He's already filed the trademark to that name. I saw some douchebag make a Photoshop that was out of alphabetical order on WWE's page called Trail London. He's not Paul London's son. Nice fucking try, cocksucker. It is such a long overdue to get this guy here. I have loved Ricky like you since the original NWA Power. I saw it then. I see it even more now. When I did see him in AEW doing relevant stuff, I saw it all day. And I always asked myself, I need more of this guy. And I never got it.
I agree. I mean, honestly, you saw the reaction from the crowd. I called it when you sent me the releases. I was like, Ricky Starks, NXT.
And dude, that's with no entrance music, no graphic. That's just him walking out with the fans.
And some people may think this is a step down for him. I disagree. I think this is a perfect platform for him to make his real name, to set him up for the main roster.
No, he's at the dance. He's at the dance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to and like they've always said, the cream will rise to the top. So that talent that's in NXT, there's so much talent down there, which we've talked about the releases. Yeah, it's sad to see some of these people go, but it's because there's so much talent there ready to come up. So, and he's one of them. I don't see him being in NXT super long term.
No.
But I see him getting his footing there to get to that WWE style. Yeah. He doesn't even have to be champion. I see him getting his footing there.
Now, Ethan Page, I feel like he needed to be NXT champion at least once.
I agree. But like people we've talked about, like LA Knight. Did LA Knight need to win a belt there? No. He was brought up to the main roster, maybe under shitty circumstances, but he was too big of a star to be held down there for too long.
He just needed, like a Jake Roberts back in the day, he just needed wins over bigger established names. That's all he really needs.
Maybe. But I see Ricky Starks being there 6 months tops. He's going to do his thing there. He's going to get over. He's going to be on the main roster because they can't keep him down there for long.
Now, see, in my opinion, when he goes main roster, that's when you start slow burning him. Owen, Sean, Brett stuff. He will need belts then, I would say.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he won't eventually, but in NXT, I don't think he needs one.
Nah. No way. What do you think of? Here's a guy that I've totally come. Speaking of NXT, we never talk about NXT. I know you watch it a lot. I'm coming around.
I love NXT.
I'd watch Stand and Deliver. It was a really good show. I will give them props right here. Stephanie McCourt and Fallon Henley opened that show and killed it.
Ooh, that was such a good match. I will be the first one to say I enjoyed the women's division in NXT more than the main roster.
The guy that I have come around on most in that company, and I fucking hated his character. Not him, because it's not really him, but is that Tony DeLuke, Italian?
Tony DeLuke?
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
You like the mafia gimmick?
Because at first I was like, oh, he's the John Laurinaitis guy. He's just a character. He's going to do a slam and a headlock. No, this guy can go. He's believable, and he's great at his character. And it's like, we're finally going to have an FBI stable in wrestling that's worth the shit. God bless little Vito, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, you have Shawn Michaels down there fucking nursing this talent. So he's not giving these people bullshit gimmicks. He's telling them where to go with their characters, and he's giving them somewhere. He's giving them a direction, and they're taking it from there. So, I mean, even the guys that are up at the top of the card that maybe don't have the best character, they are still top-notch workers, like the Trick Williams. Like, I don't know that his character is really going to get that over on the main roster.
He's
the same with Obafemi. But these guys can work, and they look great, and he's really given these guys a platform to kind of be themselves and try to find themselves a little bit.
Obafemi, for me, reminds me if Ryback would have had some charisma, it worked. Just the way Femi struts to the ring, kind of.
You could tell he's still trying to find it a little bit.
Yeah, at least he's trying.
At least when you look at that dude, though, you're like, holy shit.
You can tell with that guy for a big guy, Michael. At least for me, and you can disagree and whatever. I think he's more than one dimensional, and I think he's slowly realizing he's more.
I do too. He's still finding himself.
Yeah,
I could see him
rookie of the year, Tavon Evans.
I could see Obafemi being that like Big E style where they bring him up to be somebody's bodyguard or whatnot on the main roster for a little bit until he finally gets set off on his own a little bit to where he can kind of branch out. Trick Williams, I think, is going to get put right into that Carmelo Hayes thing where he's put right in the mid card, having good matches, but probably losing to start.
Hopefully not just like Carmelo Hayes' path.
Hopefully not, because Carmelo Hayes is so good.
I'm hoping good, eventually. Man, what a flop so far, and that sucks.
I disagree only because the only reason I think people think that is because he's not winning. But this motherfucker is having great matches with everyone. And I think eventually that's going to take over to where he gets a little bit of a push. Because every Carmelo Hayes match I have watched on the main roster, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's good.
One question coming out of the
I can't be the only guy that sees that.
No, I'm sure you're not. One question coming out of the monographs for wrap it up with our retro match of the week. Michael, sound good?
Yeah.
Who do you have walking out of the men's elimination chamber?
I think it has to be John Cena.
Yeah.
As much as I hate it.
Going John and Cody?
I'm going John and Cody and CM Punk.
So 3-way.
Somehow, some way, CM Punk is going to get in that main event because of how they're spinning this storyline. Whether he has to call in that Paul Heyman favor,
yeah,
or whatever's going on, I think Cena is the one that somehow wins the chamber.
Ooh, I just thought of something.
What? And I think Cena is the one that is going to originally challenge Cody, and somehow, some way, CM Punk is going to get his way in that match.
What if the favor is Roman Reigns being instructed by Paul Heyman, instructed by CM Punk to come out and take out Cena brutally? So it's Punk and Cody. That way, you don't necessarily have a tweener and a babyface going into Mania, because you don't want to make the fans decide, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would wrap up the favor deal. And, if Cody loses to Punk, you go Cody's Roman and like a Hell in a Cell, something extreme, and then you just move on.
So you're thinking for Mania you're going to have Roman and Cena?
No. I'm saying in the chamber match, you have Roman take out Cody and Cena.
Well, Cody's not in the chamber.
Oh. Well, you have him take out Cena.
That's why I'm saying. So you're setting up Roman and Cena for WrestleMania?
No, I'm not.
See, that's where I disagree there, because Cody's not in the chamber match. It's all for number one contender.
You would think that I'm setting up Roman versus Cena, but in the next couple weeks, Jacob Fatu's taking Roman Reigns out, and Roman Reigns is missing his first WrestleMania in years, and you're going to notice when he's not gone. And I think
there's no way they have WrestleMania without Roman.
Well, that's what I'm sticking to.
That's my thoughts.
I hope I'm right. You owe me a Tootsie Pop.
I don't care that Cody's the champion. Roman Reigns is the biggest star in the company. He is going to be at WrestleMania.
But just think of the story when he comes back. You kept me out of the biggest payday of the year. He goes right for Fatu. I don't know, man. We'll see. This is why I love doing this. This is why.
If I had to put my money on everything, it's going to be Roman and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Some sort of stipulation. I think it can't just be a one-on-one match. I think because this rivalry has gone too long, over too many years, there has to be a stipulation where it's Hell in a Cell or some shit where they have this match to finally have their one-on-one. Because the last time we saw them one-on-one was at the Royal Rumble a couple years ago, and Roman got disqualified. Remember?
I know this isn't our prediction.
So we still haven't. So we still haven't had our finish to that feud in all reality.
I'll sneak in two more for Mania. I think it's going to be Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins for the IC title, and I think it's going to be Nakamura and probably my heart wants to say LA Knight, but not LA Knight. A returning Bronson Reed as a babyface.
Ugh. I mean, I love you, but I think you're totally off base with both of those.
But would you watch my Mania card, though?
I would, but I just don't see it happening.
Well, at least you would watch it.
I think you're going to see AJ Styles and Braun Breaker for the IC title.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see LA Knight and possibly Drew McIntyre.
We're getting Orton and Owens. That's a given. It's got to happen.
Well, they're already setting up the Sami Zayn and Owens thing, but I think you're going to get Orton eventually. But if we're going for mid-card belts, I see LA Knight beating Nakamura, getting his belt back, and I see him taking on Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
I think it's him and McIntyre for the U.S., and I think it's Breaker and AJ Styles for the Intercontinental title, possibly opening up night one, because I think AJ Styles and Braun Breaker could possibly be a show stealer.
Well, I'll tell you what, instead of me sitting in my nerd office and you in your living room, we should be sitting in fucking Titan Towers getting their WrestleMania ready. Look at all these ideas. Damn it.
Oh, I could book both nights right now, baby.
Let's talk about one more great thing before we get to a retro part of the show. I don't know if you saw the clip today. Chris Bay TNA wrestler, great friend of the show. Unfortunately, had a neck injury in November. No one knew if he'd ever wrestle again. He posted an awesome video 2 days ago. Did you see this, Michael?
I didn't.
He stood up for the first time, unassisted.
That's fucking awesome.
And with 2 heartfelt messages thanking all the fans. And one of my best friends, Rob, who does art for the Reset Button, does all of Chris Bay's shirt. And that's kind of how I got to know him. That's why there's a dedication video here on the channel. So, guys, keep donating. Don't stop. He's almost there. Cannot wait. I don't even care if he is in the ring again. I just want this man.
Keep him in your thoughts and prayers, guys.
I want him to have a normal life at this point. He's such a good dude. So congrats, Chris Bay. Here's thinking about you, my friend, and praying.
Hell yeah, brother. I hope you get all the way back on your feet. Whether it's literally or figuratively, we're rooting for you.
That being said, let's go all the way back to August 1996, the dire times in the WWF. The times when Jim Cornette will come out on commentary for an hour, Michael.
Not the worst, I guess.
The times where Shawn Michaels was the champ, coming out with a little camera called the Click Clam, and his best buddy in the world, a 300-pound black as night man named Odd Man Johnson. Wow. There were weeks.
Is this back when he was wearing the black and blue trunks with the pants?
Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I believe he wears them in this match.
Oh, God.
So Marty is in the new Rockers phase, and Marty is wearing that pink, looks like ice creams. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
He's with Al Snow. I'm sorry, Leaf Cassidy.
So on the other end, we're going into Hog Wild and NWO's full force and the Cruiserweights and all that. And there's no defending this time, right? If you're WWF. We just watched
WWF getting their ass kicked, yeah.
This was the first time as children at like 11 or fucking 8 or whatever, we would finally sneak over to Nitro just to see Razor and Deezer. I remember you looking at I remember the episode where they came out with bats and like laughing at security guards. I remember you and I looking at each other one time at Grandma Helen's house going, they're so cool. Why can't other wrestlers be like this?
Yeah.
It was so different. But let's get back to the match at hand. This was Vince's defense. The week after this, it gets even more. We're not going to review it, I promise. But it was Ahmed Johnson defending the IC belt against Bart Gunn. And, of course, his new buddy, Shawn, defending the WWF title against Billy Gunn. Did I die and go to fucking hell in 96? Well, I lived through it. Michael, this match, you always hear about, the match on the early Raw in the Manhattan Center with, like, who's that guy coming out of the crowd? That's Marty Jannetty. And then Marty beat him.
Back in 93.
That's probably their best match for me. All the ones that they've had on the house shows, I'm sure, are 10 times better. We'll never see those matches. The one at the Rumble 93 where Marty was super drunk and got fired immediately was very slow-paced.
Yeah, it wasn't their best.
What'd you think of this one?
I thought it was pretty good.
Circumstances aside, Marty's a jobber, Shawn's a champ, Jose's old. Circumstances aside, as a match at its time, what you got?
It's a good little 10-minute match or whatever it was. I thought Shawn gave Marty enough to get his shit in a little bit. It wasn't as good as 93, obviously, because Shawn's the man now. But yeah, I thought it was good for what it was. Two guys really athletic, back and forth sequences they've probably worked on for years. And still the backstory there where, former tag partners, that story will always work, no matter where one and the other go, as long as they're both in the same company. That
remember in that year's Royal Rumble 96, as soon as those two got, it's when Marty first came back. They went right at it. I've never forgot that.
Yep, they went right at it because they're always going to be able to sell that. But this match is kind of the same thing, a little nostalgic. You got a little nice 10-minute match here.
More interference.
But yeah.
I will say Leaf Cassidy and I know Al Snow hates this fucking gimmick to a T, but Leaf like dancing to Shawn's music and waving at his cam made me smile so fucking hard. It was so good.
Well, I've listened to Al Snow comment on this, and I think his biggest issue was that Marty just wasn't into it at all. Marty looked at it as like a slap in the face, like Sean was trying to fuck with him a little bit.
Well, he was.
Which, I mean, I guess maybe isn't false.
It's
but
okay.
Yeah.
He had Shinobi and Avatar to fall back on for a while. So.
But yeah, as an Al Snow guy, like this is his first opportunity. I could totally see how he would be pissed at Marty or Sean.
Yeah.
But yeah. And my whole thing with Marty Jannetty is the epitome of it's everyone else's fault.
Right.
So as much as I love Marty Jannetty's work, he talks like he is the unluckiest man alive, like he never did anything to deserve anything that he got. So, sorry, Marty, but
I feel like
you did it to yourself.
I feel like gimmicks and jobbers and managers side, the fans look at all the smoke and mirrors and just the match. I definitely got what I wanted out of this match. If only Marty could have just. I know Marty hurt his knee.
Shit together.
Well, that, and I know he hurt his knee in Survivor Series '96, and he wasn't seen from again until WCW.
I thought it was his ankle.
One of the two.
Yeah, because I know he even up to for 20 years, like he's been dealing with ankle issues. So I think like that was pretty much the start of his downfall. Was Survivor Series '96, where he didn't take the time off when he fucked up his ankle, and it kind of just got worse and worse. I remember watching the Dark Side of the Ring episode with him, where his ankle looked like a fucking balloon.
We're not even going to show that, guys.
Yeah, but where his ankle looked like a fucking balloon, like he still hadn't gotten it fixed. And he was still working on it, which is crazy to me. Like, what are you doing with that thing? But
yeah,
but like, holy shit. And
I do. Yeah,
I feel bad for Marty to an extent. But I also look at him like, man,
you got to grow up.
You got to look in the mirror at some point in your life.
Well, you just got to grow up, man. Like, say what you want about Shawn Michaels, how he runs XT, his questionable, is he Christian really? He grew up, had kids. I mean, he
doesn't get in trouble.
Put the somas behind him.
Yeah, he's not getting arrested every 3 months.
He just got googly eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Marty, come on, bro. You can't blame everyone else for you getting arrested all the time. And I definitely wouldn't talk about how I killed someone and then said, oh, it's a storyline.
I would definitely recommend watching their very first match from the Manhattan Center, Michael, 93, would you? Much better.
Yes.
That is the ultimate Shawn Marty match right there. This
wasn't terrible.
The ultimate Shawn moment where Marty appeared out of the crowd in a Guns N' Roses shirt and boots and smashing. That's the best Shawn. And of course the barbershop. But other than that, I'm going to give this week's retro match 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it, especially for the time of wrestling it was in the WWF. It was a gem in the rough. It really, because I remember matches before this had like, I think the match before this was like Duke the Dumpster Dorsey and Triple H, or like TL Hopper and Mark Marrow. So this was a bad episode of Raw. And this Raw was only a couple weeks removed from, like I said, the debut of the NWO. So,
I mean, that wouldn't shock me with the matches that you've said. I haven't really watched the whole episode. But from watching the match, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Wasn't their best match.
That's beyond fair.
If I was gonna give them a grade on their 93 match, it would probably be closer to an 8 out of 10. For this time in 96 for WWF, maybe I give them 7.5. But if I'm looking at it objectively, 6.5 out of 10 for me. No build up, not a whole lot of heat for this match, but it was good for what it was.
You knew who was winning right away.
Yeah.
Was this leading into SummerSlam, or this was leading into International Incident?
I believe so, yeah. I think this was after SummerSlam. So this was after the Vader debacle.
God, what a time to be alive. That's all we had as kids. Poor Vader.
He could have been the man there, and Shawn just wasn't having it.
I'm telling you, they should have strapped that rocket to Sid in that summer. Things would be a whole lot different now. I'm telling you.
Well, they did it in the winter.
Oh, no, sorry. Well, my friend, it's been a minute since you've done this. What do you got on top of your head for a retro match or segment next week?
Oh, shit. What do we got coming up? Elimination Chamber?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's review a chamber match.
Very first one.
How about it? Sean overcoming all the odds.
Sean in his poopy UPS
ugly brown pants.
Yes.
Yeah. The ugly brown pants, Shawn Michaels' first Elimination Chamber match.
And a terrible night for Triple H. Holy shit. I'm down, man. Survivors.
Sounds good to me.
I have not seen Survivors 92 in like 7 or 8 years, so well done, man.
Well, it wasn't Survivor 92, but...
Or 2002. Whoopsie daisy. It's 3 o'clock
say
in the morning.
92 was Shawn and Brett, but yeah.
I do want to shout out my friend and Mike's friend Mike Nolan from Voltage Pro Wrestling. Going to have him on the channel soon with some interviews. I ran into him at the shop the other day. Give me a cool Voltage Pro Wrestling hat. Nicest guy ever. Give it a follow him on Facebook. Cannot wait to have some of his talent on the channel. Michael, where can everyone catch you on Twitter?
You can check me on Facebook or on X at Mike the Slam Pig. Always keep me in mind. Let's get up, motherfuckers.
And tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell your pets. Hibiki 2MD is back. My own channel. Me just playing my own bullshit. All the shows are over on here now, but that channel is just me playing games. So if you want to hit me up over there doing stone things under the influence, playing GTA Online or Fantasia for Sega Genesis, God help me, check me out, Hibiki2MD. And of course, the Reset Button podcast, my co-host Tanner, Retro Gaming. If you're into it, we're going to cover it. Next time, it's our Beat 'em Up Bonanza, Michael. We cover Power Rangers the movie and Batman Returns. Batman Forever. Ooh. I was hoping it was Batman Returns. Until then, my friend, you know what to do.
Oink!
See you later.